Hi everyone, my name is Twinkle and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, you might even want to consider subscribing to my channel because I make a lot of informational content that might be very useful to you. In this video, I'm going to share with you the tutorial of this quick look. Yes, this is something that I do on an everyday basis to do my Zoom classes, to attend any online meetings, so on and so forth. And even if I'm just going out for a cup of coffee or so on a summery day, this is something very achievable, very dewy and very fresh. So if you're interested, then keep on watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share this video. Let's begin.
So I'm going to start with a nicely cleansed skin. I've washed my face, there's no product on, and I'm going to start with prepping my skin, and for that I'm going to use a moisturizer, and I'm going to use my Loveearth pre and post makeup moisturizer. This is a very thick product and you can use it as a primer, moisturizer, before and after makeup. I'm going to use a good amount and first use it and melt it in my hands and then smear it all over my skin. So I'm going to just use it, melt it in my hands and massage it all over my face. I'm going to give this step some good amount of time because this step is important. Just prep your skin nicely so that your makeup base looks nice. Since this is a very basic look, a prep is most important. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to top it up with a facial oil. You can absolutely skip this step, but since I'm a very dry skin variant, I'm going to use some on my under eye and then just slightly let it absorb into my skin. So once I put makeup, my skin still glows from within. Prep is important when you're going to do this basic look. So now once I make sure that the oil is nicely smeared all over the face, I'm going to let it settle down. I'm going to start with my brows, and for that I'm going to use an eyeshadow, a black eyeshadow. You can look at the pan, must show that I have already used quite a bit of it. I'm going to use an angular brush, and then using that I'm going to slightly cover up any gaps that I have. First of all, obviously using a spoolie, I'm going to brush my brows, and you can see this gap. I'm going to fill this up with the black shadow first, and then I'm going to make light strokes just to fill my gaps and give it a little shape. If you have thicker brows and you don't have gaps, you can absolutely skip it and use a mascara wand, but I'm just going to go ahead and fill my brows since I have a few gaps. Just very basic and very light to make them look natural. You see, I'm constantly shaping and distributing the black shadow all over to make it look very natural and even. I'm going to go ahead and put the details of all the products that I've used here in the description box, and if you need any suggestions, you can also comment in the comment section below. Once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead with the Fix Plus just to make my skin feel more hydrated, and it just adds a little bit of freshness. And obviously you can use a rose water or any other mist, optional but really very helpful during summers. I'm obviously going to let it get absorbed into my skin before I start with the next step. The next step now is to identify the problematic areas, which is the pigmentation or either dark circles that I have. You can see that I have a few here and there on my face. I'm just pointing it out, and I'm just going to go ahead and conceal them using a darker shade of concealer. The product details again are going to be in the description box. I have started using a tad bit amount on all my problem areas. You could see around the nose, the mouth, some guess here and there, my face right here. And then once I'm done putting the concealer, I'm also going to go ahead and just spread that out using this same tube. It is my personal tube, so nothing to worry about it. You can also use a brush, blender, or your fingers to blend it as per your wish. Once I'm done putting the product, I'm using an angular brush again like this one, and I'm just going to go and dab away the product. Dab, not swipe. Just dab lightly. You see I'm holding it from the end for the pressure point, because the lesser the pressure, the more product will get nicely settled on your skin and not move the product. And you have to make sure the pressure is light. Nicely dab it and it'll look more blended. Do you see the difference already between the two sides? looks so different and so bright. Now I'll go ahead and start blending the concealer all over my face wherever I've put the concealer. So you'll see the shade is a little yellowy and peachy in color. I'm using creamy beige. You can use the tone that suits your skin complexion and the color of your pigmentation accordingly, right? I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and blend all of this nicely, just dabbing it all over. And because my brush has product, I'm also going on the areas around it, so that if at all there is any discoloration, it is being taken care of. You see, I'm also putting and spreading the same product over the lids so that it gives a clear base for any of my eyeshadow, which is also optional. If at all I use one, it will give them a clear base for me to put on my eyeshadow. Once I'm done blending the concealer, the one which helps conceal my pigmentation in my problem areas, now I'm going to go ahead with a lighter concealer, which is the Maybelline Age Rewind. This is Love. You see the amount I've already finished, but this is really good. This is an absolute dupe of Tarte Shape Tape. I'm just going to use a good amount under my eyes. You see, I'm leaving the area just below my eye, and I'm going to highlight the high points. I've used a good amount, and that's all. This is a non-crease formula. It is drying, which is why I use the oil as a prep in my skin. So I'm going to take a buffer brush. You can also take a blender if that works for you. And before that, again, I'm going to go ahead with Fix Plus Rose Water, something to just make my makeup look more blended and dewy. I'm going to go ahead and start blending it all over, making sure that my whole face is covered and it looks all even. Again, I'm not going to be very harsh. I am not putting a lot of pressure, just making sure that it is nicely covering my neck, my ears, my nose, basically making sure that my whole face looks of the same color. There is a same even tone all over my face. Yes, you see how bright this concealer is. I absolutely love the formula, though it's a little drying, and if you're a dry skin variant, you really need to prep your skin very well, which is why the oil and the Fix Plus and a good moisturizing base before you start makeup. So you see, I've already blended out my lighting concealer and my face looks quite covered. Yeah, it's an even tone now. Make sure you're not forgetting the hairline, and make sure that it is well blended and it all looks even and complements my skin complexion. So once I'm done, I'm just going to let my base rest a little bit, and I'm going to start with my lips. I'm using a NYX lip liner of a pink color, a fuchsia pink. You can choose any color, and if you see, I'm slightly overlining my lips, very tad bit, slightly overlining them so it looks fuller. My lips appear fuller and plumper. I've already prepped my lips as well. I've used a lip scrub and applied a good amount of lip balm so they look plumper. Now if you see, I'm just gonna fill in my lips using the same lip liner. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the face now. So now I'm going to just make sure that if there is any creasing, this is a brush with no product, I'm just making sure that there are no creases on my eyelid before I start putting any eyeshadow. I've gone ahead and taken this palette. I'm going to take some pink and coral shade, starting in the C shape. I'm going to apply my blush on. I really like this step because I really like blush on as my makeup product. It is one of my favorite makeup products and the step, so I do it really generously. And making sure that I'm going into the C shape, I am going to apply a good amount of blusher. Makes you look fresh, makes you look more awake. And then I'm going to make sure that I apply a tad bit around my nose and also on my chin, just to again give myself a more fresh, radiant look. Once I'm done applying the blush, Then I'm going to go ahead and use the same shade of pink on my eyelids. You can go ahead with any neutral shades, browns, but make sure that you remove any creases. I'm using my finger at this point so that there is no creasing of eyeshadow and the eyeshadow does not get clogged there. So just make sure your lid is clean and clear, and this just using a fluffy brush, by again holding it from the end, I'm going to softly apply a pink coral shade on my lids, using it with a very light hand. You can absolutely skip this step and use a tint as well, but this is what I do usually, just use a lighter shade to achieve a monochromatic look on my face, so they all look very even. And also blush pink is something that really works for summers, looks really nice over a Zoom call as well, gives you a very natural finish. Alright, so once I'm done blending the eyeshadow, you see I've made sure that both my eyelids look the same. I'm going to keep the edges very blended so they don't look shabby and they don't have harsh edges. I'm also going to go ahead and use a eye curler before I apply any mascara, just to make sure that my lashes, because they're really long, they have some kind of shape. They are not like flat and elongated. They have some sort of curl before I even start putting my mascara. Once you're done, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the mascara. You can use black, brown, any color. I'm using a black here, making sure that I am separating it while I apply it on both my eyelids. So I'm covering the lashes really nicely. In fact, I think this is my second most favorite product. If I talk about the makeup products, mascara can really make and accentuate your look. In fact, I sometimes even go ahead and put a double coat of the same. You can go ahead and absolutely put a double coat and see the difference it makes to your makeup look. Once you're done covering the lid, I'm gonna let it dry for some time. Once I'm done with the mascara, I'm going to go ahead and use a brush, a powder brush basically, that I use to apply loose powder. Today I'm not going to apply loose powder, but I'm just going to take the brush without any product just to settle up the makeup under my eye, over the forehead. I'm just gonna brush it all over my face. You can use a tad bit amount of powder if you have sweaty skin like me, but I'm just gonna avoid it altogether. And then I go again with my curler once my mascara has dried up a little bit, and again go ahead and curl my lashes. Do you see the instant difference, the lift it gives you? I've just used a single and very less amount of mascara. You can absolutely go and put 2-3 coats as per your wish, but since I do it every day, I avoid using double coats. Most of the times I do a single coat and just doing the final finish over my brows. I'm going to go ahead now and use the same eyeshadow on my lower lid, lower lash line. The same shadow that I used over my lids. It does accentuates your look if you are going to skip a kajal or using a smudged lash liner. Right. The next step that I'm going to do is use a gloss over my lips. You can use a clear gloss. Now over it, I've just used the lip liner. I'm just going to altogether avoid the lipstick. It just hydrates and accentuates and makes my lips look more plumper. Now the next step is going to use a highlighter. You see the pan already finished. One of my favorites. The details going to be in the description box, and I applied generously over the high points, which is the my chin, both my cheekbones, and a tad bit on my forehead, just to make you look more glowy and just healthy looking, plumpier, juicier skin. That is the look that you get when you apply this highlighter. Alright, once you're done with this, if at all required, it's optional, you can also go ahead with a kajal. I am actually using a lip liner just to lightly add some color in my lash line, and that's it. You are well done with your makeup look. I said that I love my blush, so I'm just gonna go over a little bit, because on Zoom calls your makeup looks lighter, so even if you put a little bit more, it is not going to show. It is actually going to look much better. So with that, I'm done with my makeup look. This is how it has turned out. It was very quick, looks very fresh, and that's all about it. I hope you liked the makeup look that I created here. It is very easy, very achievable. Please go ahead and try this. This is something that I do on an everyday basis. On that note, that is the end of this video. I hope you liked the video, and I'm gonna see you in my next one. Till then, take care and bye bye.